This Window World 250 Betting Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a $25 deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by Naira Bets. Claim your $200 deposit bonus today at nairabets.com/SGPN200, promo code SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and we are going truck racing at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Cody, short track racing, trucks, no Xfinity. The trucks get the whole weekend to themselves other than those Cup guys doing that crazy race, whatever they're doing. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting truck weekend, my friend.
It is going to be a very exciting truck weekend. Full episode of Truck Picks. A lot of good stuff out there this week. Was not hard to fill up the card. In the past, sometimes it's like, oh boy, we're struggling to get the full sheet. Not an issue today. Got plenty of bets packed in there. I'm excited for this. Let me break down the format for this week's race, Rod. It's a normal Truck Series race. So there you go. A lot quicker than yesterday's all-star magical formula and how we're going to set that lineup. But yeah, this is just a true regular points-paying Truck Series race. It'll have your regular stages as normal, pace points as normal. We don't have to worry about all the extra shenanigans. No promoter's caution in this. Well, okay, they're not going to tell you there's a promoter's caution, but we see the cardboard that's been on the track for 50 laps suddenly warrant a caution because they need the break, but no scheduled promoter's caution.
Or we watch a truck skid halfway down the backstretch, and then we're like, oh, no, there's the yellow.
Or we watch a truck stop in turn 3 and 4 for 3 minutes, and as it's, crawls along at 1 mile an hour, because it wouldn't be dangerous if those guys came off the banking and hit that guy, but we don't throw a caution. But I'm not bitter about that at all.
I think we need to have every single one of those race officials wear one of our shirts as they are just officiating the race, because sometimes, man, that yellow button tends to stay put when it shouldn't, and then is quick to the draw when it shouldn't. So hopefully we don't see a lot of that go on, and we just see a nice, fun, short track race with trucks.
We'll
see how that works.
We'll see how that works, Rob.
All right. We got Rye Cape saying midday show. Right. I like it. Yeah. Hi, Rye. Yeah. We're doing it a little early.
Hey, that's what worked out for today. So here we are.
Yeah. It's been one of those weird weeks because, again, the all-star race, the odds kind of got, I don't want to say pushed back, but they didn't really give us a whole lot. So we pushed the whole weekend back or the whole week back rather. And here we are. Yeah. Trucks on a Thursday on a midday, which is fine because that's the way God intended it, I think. Right. So, All right, let me tell you real quick, though, about our friends over at the merch store. We talked about the race officials or terrorist shirts. Well, you can find that as well as the DGens line of gear. It's live right now in the merch store. And to celebrate, we're taking 20% off of everything in the store. So you can get yourself one of those fun race officials or terrorists, or you can get yourself a nice little hoodie or a shirt or a coffee mug, as we've got one of these right here, the SGPN coffee mugs. I got a Racing Gambling Podcast one that I like to drink from too. Find it all there, 20% off right now with the promo code DGENS, DEGENS. All right, Cody, well, we are at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. It is one of the most classic tracks in all of NASCAR, and the trucks get to take it as a real race, as we just said before. And there are actually some folks that we recognize from Sundays that are going to be racing this Saturday, set for 250 laps around this 0.625 mile paved track for 156.250 miles of this Window World 250.
Yes, there is a few names that we recognize, a few names that you're going to want to get to know as well. So 35 entries for this race. They will all make the race. Brent Cruz making his Truck Series debut in the number 1 for Tricon Garage. He is 17-year-old up-and-coming superstar, so keep your eye on him. Old Norm Benning is back, Rod. It's always great to see him in the field. Some guy named Kyle Busch, not sure who that is. He's going to be racing the 07 truck for Spire Motorsports. Sammy Smith is coming back, Rod. He's going to be in the 7 truck for Spire. Why did we put Sammy in the 7 and Kyle in the 07? Don't love that, but that's okay. You know, is what it is. Looking down through the rest of the list here, Luke Baldwin is back in the number 66 truck. We're going to be talking about him today. Ryan Roulette in the 67 truck. How do you not bet on Roulette, Rod? Well, he's in a Freedom Racing truck, so that's how you don't bet on him. But yeah, that sums up the list of notables in this truck race.
Yeah, and the most notable, of course, out of all of them is Kyle Busch coming back down to make a start on this track, and we'll definitely be talking about him coming up. You can't have a truck race with Kyle Busch and not talk about Kyle Busch, so don't worry. All you KFB fans, you are in for all of your favorite. Tell you what, this is why I love our listeners. Walter checking in from the Bahamas on vacation.
Hell yeah.
Why, Walter? Well, I love you, and thanks for listening, by the way. But I don't know that I'd be sober enough in the Bahamas to listen to two guys blather on.
Nobody said that Walter was sober, Rod. But thanks for tuning in anyways. We appreciate it. Have a hell of a time in the Bahamas. That sounds very nice.
That sounds amazing. That's someplace I would love to be right now. In fact, that's the second time I've heard Bahamas mentioned in a couple of days. I was watching a show last night that they were going to go on vacation in the Bahamas. So, Walter, if you see the cast of a show called Cougar Town, then say hi to them.
There you go. Nice. Hey, you can listen anywhere in the world, and people do, Rod. We have listeners from all over for sure. We love it.
Absolutely love it. So, all right. Well, then, Cody, I feel like there's been news.
There is actually.
Yeah,
news.
there has
Christopher Buescher penalized, Rod. So that was one of the trucks or cars, rather. Boy, I'm in full truck mode. One of the cars they took back to the R&D center. We often see they'll take 2-4 cars back to R&D. There's never really anything that comes out of that for the most part, but sometimes there is. And yeah, Chris Buescher's car was one of those that they took back. He was docked 60 points. His crew chief, Scott Gray, was suspended 2 races, $75,000 fine to the team for a front bumper cover violation found at the R&D center. So, yeah, that's kind of a big deal. I'm trying to quickly pull up the point standings here because he's obviously not won this year. And yeah, that drops him to 24th place. So a bit outside of the show there. So he's 27 points to, 27 is not a ton, but when every point counts and you lose 60 of them, that's pretty rough. They do have until, I believe it's 5 p.m. Eastern time this evening to decide whether they, or actually they might have till Monday to decide whether they want to appeal. I'm pretty sure. So we'll see. They could obviously still appeal. I believe Monday is what I saw was the deadline. So, yeah, but boy, that's a massive hit for sure. Losing the crew chief for a couple of races, as well as the points just being extra massive, especially, if he doesn't win a race between now and the playoffs.
Front bumper cover. Did you put a sticker on his front bumper? You probably put a NASCAR Gambling Podcast sticker on his front bumper, and they caught that.
My lawyer's advice, Rod, was to say no comment. So we'll go with that.
Oh man. Yeah, look, it's funny though, because if you think about all of the different moving parts on that car, and I mean, we're talking bolts, we're talking spaces between certain parts of the equipment. It's such a weird thing to think about, that your front bumper cover could be the difference between you being in the playoff hunt and just outside of the playoff hunt.
Yeah. Well, and what's weird is that's one of the single source supplier parts. So they all come from the same place. But I mean, we know that these teams are obviously going to push the limits where they can. Did they modify it? I don't exactly know. I haven't seen, exactly what was wrong with it. But yeah, very interesting for sure.
Also in the Discord too, we're looking at Kyle Larson. He's going to be in the Mario Kart Championships, right? He's racing what is that? We have a healthy debate on Kyle Larson going on in the Discord too, if you haven't checked it out.
It's it's an ongoing, never-ending debate. But yes, there was a video of him riding a scooter around in the IndyCar paddock there. And NASCAR Chasm retweeted it and said, "Is there anything he can't drive? Wow, just wow." And then that devolved into me saying he was the GOAT, and other people saying that F1 drivers do it better. And yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I'm convinced that if he wanted to go race, what are those e-bikes, right? Those ones that you rent, or you have the cities that you swipe your card. Yeah. If he had one of those, I'm sure he could beat every car out there. Still,
all these guys got scooters these days. Let's have some scooter races.
Ooh, that'd be fantastically fun. I'd pay to see that. All right. Oh, Truth Matters jumping in. Cody, did you get a Rhodes driver shirt at Kansas?
Oh, that would have been great, because then I would be Cody Rhodes, obviously, right? But now I was actually very disappointed in the lack of Truck Series, or really no Truck Series merchandise at all. In the I grew up in the NASCAR era where it was glorious, and you had Souvenir Row was like 8 million trailers. Everybody had their own trailer, and there was stuff for all the series and everything. It's kind of a sad state of Souvenir Row these days, Rod. And I assume, obviously, the internet makes things easy. You can go get exactly what you want when you want. So there is that. But I always get my daughter a t-shirt or something, anytime I go anywhere. So I was going to get her a Carson Hocevar t-shirt. No Carson Hocevar merchandise in the entire thing. I know that pleases you, Rod. But yeah, there was nothing. Like, he's a full-time Cup guy. So the only truck thing was Raja Kruth was like, had a t-shirt stuffed into one of the trailers that was for like all the series and that. But yeah, it was kind of sad. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson are the only drivers who have their own trailers. Everybody else is all grouped up together. So unfortunate.
It's like going to a concert and not getting a concert t-shirt. That is the most heinous crime of all. Lawrence checking in saying, "Hey guys, great show. Thank you so much." Rye, I will not take the slander of Cody Rhodes on this. The American Nightmare is...
He has a great first name, and that's really the only thing I know about him, because I don't do the wrestling thing.
Well, spoiler alert, John Cena is now knocked him off his perch, but I still am a Cody crybaby.
Yes. And shout out to JDK as well. Says, "Don't get me started on single source parts." I'm pretty sure that when I woke up this morning, there was like 200 messages in the Discord, and it was them talking about that. I've not had the time to go back and read through that conversation just yet.
You want healthy conversations, the Discord has it. I'd same way. I woke up this morning and I was like, let's see what's going on in the...
Yeah. But hey, we love it.
We absolutely love it. That's exactly why it's there. So if you want to get in on it too, go to sg.pn/Discord, join the family, and have some fun talking about single source with JDK and Rowdy Nation. So, all right, Cody, I believe that it is now time to start talking about the trucks. You want to do that?
Speaking of Rowdy Nation, Rod, it's time to start talking about the trucks.
Okay, well, let's do that. But let's do that after I tell you about our friends over at Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are improved. There's no usage fees, no minimums. You can earn cashback rewards and get 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN. Deposit $25 and Edge Boost is going to match that deposit. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. horsies, ponies, the Preakness that's right around the corner, and there is no better time to get in on the action with Naira Bets. Sign up today using promo code SGPN200. You can score a $200 deposit match bonus. Don't wait. Head to nyrabets.com/SGPN200. Claim that $200 deposit match today. That's nyrabets.com/SGPN200. It is time for my bonus underdog pick'em. Well, so we know that F1 is actually back this weekend, and they are going to be running around again. Lewis Hamilton, his finishing projection for the Italian Grand Prix is set at 6.5. I feel like Lewis has to finally get back into the swing of things, right? I mean, this Ferrari thing has not necessarily been working out the way he wants it to. He's got to do something. So a top 6 finish for him would probably be like winning or getting on the podium. So give me Lewis Hamilton better than 6.5 this week in Italy. An Underdog just launched their new game, Ladders. Win up to 500 times watching your favorite pick or your favorite players climb that ladder. Sign up with our promo code RACESGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. How pissed do you think Lewis is watching Kimi, like, actually finish in the top 4, and he's barely struggling to finish top 8?
Yeah, I'm sure that after the rough couple of seasons that Lewis has had with Mercedes there at the end, I'm sure that that's a bit difficult to watch.
It is, but this is not the F1 Gambling Podcast, RIP. This is the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. So, Cody, let's start this has been fun. This has been a fun truck race to break down, actually, because we've only had a couple of them in recent history. So, let's start loading up this Window World 250 betting card.
Yeah, so short track, obviously, you can kind of look at that. You know, with the trucks, Xfinity, a lot of times it's more about recent performance. What have you done for me lately? I leaned into that more so than anything. You can look at the last 2 years for some guys. Some of these guys haven't made starts the last 2 years or only started one of the races. So a little bit of everything that goes into it. Short tracks this year, like we've had Martinsville. It's really it, right? Rockingham was a bigger track. Bristol, yeah, sure, it's a short track, but it just doesn't race that way. So yeah, I'm leaning definitely more into current performance over everything, and that leads me to Lane Riggs over Tyrone Majeski -125. Things have not been great for Majeski here lately. First, we'll start. Lane Riggs finished 3rd place here last year. That was his only career start here. Did not start 2 years ago. Ty Majeski 11th place last season after starting 4th even. He did finish 2nd here in 23, so I will give him credit for that. But you look over the last 6 races of the season, 1 top 10 finish for Ty Majeski. For Lane Riggs, he's got 3 of them, and in 5 of the last 6 races, Riggs has beat Majeski. Majeski is a short track guy. You always consider him when we come to these types of tracks. You always look at him. Things have just not been going great for him over the last few weeks. Kind of got that championship hangover or whatever it is. But it's every time you look up, oh, shit, there goes the piano, right? Something happened to Majeski again. And he still had some good finishes, right? Only 1 top 10. I think he's finished 11th twice in that. He's got a 13th, 14th place finish. But Riggs, each and every week, is battling for the win, looks great, and is running up front. So I don't know how at this point in time you can't bet on Riggs. By the way, I am counting Riggs as the 2nd place finisher last week. He was disqualified and technically finished in last place. But I don't know how much the bed of the truck really, either way, going to beat Majeski. Had a good run. He's looked good. He's looked fast. And yeah, truth matters, really summing it up here. I'm sorry, but if you aren't betting Riggs every week, you're missing out. I got a lot more thoughts on Riggs in a little bit, but I'm going to start with him over Tyrone Majeski at -125. You can get that. -125 is on Bet365. I know Caesars has him at -130. If you only have that option, I would take that too, because it's similar enough of a number.
Yeah, I definitely have some more thoughts on Riggs as well. I mean, the pissed off Riggs is going to be right there. I mean, he's the cover guy this week for an absolute reason, because definitely, it's a Riggs week, I think. All right. Hold on. Trampled by Squirtles says, my kid's college fund took a hit last week with Hemrick finishing 10th, but their education is important to me, so I'm going back to the well. Love Riggs trajectory too.
Yes, love it. Let's go.
Your kids' education brought to you by the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
Right.
All right. Let's see. Caesars and a couple other books are giving us the Battle of the Smiths this weekend. It is Sammy Smith, as you said, back in the 07, right? And
he's in the 7. He gets the good truck.
That's right. He's in the 7 truck this week. But Sammy Smith in the 7, I don't care. Like he's had one truck race this season. Yeah, he was in the 07, which I guess substandard equipment compared to the 7, but he finished 16th in that truck race. Chandler Smith, I mean, look, it hasn't been like a banner last 3 races for Chandler Smith. He did start out with a string of top 10 finishes from Daytona all the way to Bristol, so a 6-race streak of top 10 finishes. And the last 3 have been kind of tough, right? Rockingham started in the outside pole, finished 13th. Fort Worth, he started in 9th and finished 16th. Kansas last week, that was just an awful day for him overall. Finished 17th, but his average finish, and he's a full-time truck driver, right? 8.7. I'm sorry, but you put Sammy back into this this 7. I don't care what 7777. He put him in the 77, the 97, the 777, and I still don't think he's going to end up beating Chandler Smith on this particular track. It just, to me, this is more a full-time driver versus the part-time driver, even in great equipment, right? And that 38 truck we know is still damn good equipment. So it's not like he's racing, I don't know, whatever lowly equipment that Carson Hocevar puts himself into every week. But I'm just kidding.
Last week's winner, Carson Hocevar, Rod, is that what you're talking about?
I don't know.
That 7 truck, actually.
The wrong truck got disqualified, in my opinion. They didn't look close enough to Carson Hocevar's truck. But anyways, it's just, to me, this is more of a full-time driver in the Truck Series versus Sammy Smith, who really is just in it because there's no Xfinity race this weekend, and you know they need somebody else to put in that 7 truck. So Chandler over Sammy, -120. I love it.
Yeah, usually I'm one that doesn't give Sammy a lot of credit. He did run pretty well here last year, had a top 5 finish. So I'll give him that, but I'm always for fading Sammy Smith. So give me Chandler over Sammy. Next up for me, Rod, I'm going to go to Grant Enfinger, top 5, 3-1 for Mr. Enfinger. He finished 2nd place here last year. So that is inside of the top 5 last time I checked. 10th place run here 2 years ago. That was kind of in the GMS. They were on their way out, all of that stuff. He still made it to the championship for it and had a good season, but 2nd place run here last year really is what I'm looking at most. And he's looked good lately. He was really fast last week at Kansas. And again, it's tough because the speed from Kansas last week isn't necessarily going to translate to this week because it's a different style of track. But current form means a lot, especially in the Truck Series. Ends up with a 9th place run there, not bad. 5th at Rockingham a couple of weeks ago. Again, not the same track type, but you like what he's done. He's had some really good finishes this year, even 4th at Daytona, 2nd at Las Vegas, 9th at Miami. Martinsville was a tough day with the 29th place finish, but he was running better than that, got caught up. There was a couple of, it wasn't as chaotic as that Xfinity Series race, but there was a couple of later cautions, right? And he was involved in one of those. So, but yeah, at 3-1, I think these are pretty good odds for Grant Enfinger, who is just a guy that shows up and does well all the time, really. And it seems like he's stronger at short tracks, although lately he's been doing pretty good at the 1.5 miles. They've really found some speed in that truck too. But Enfinger 3-1 for a top 5. I'll take it.
It just was, for Enfinger, I was on him last week too, which is one of those things where you just kind of always, if there was top 10s, you would hammer that every single week with
he would be our Chris Busch or Alex Bowman top 10. Like you just bet him every single week. Unfortunately, we don't get those, but yeah, the top 5, even still the number it's at, I like it.
Yeah. Cause you would get a top 10 number. It's still plus money for him.
Yeah. And he's a guy that just like, he can certainly have his bad weeks, but there's some weeks where you're just like, holy shit, Grant Enfinger might win this thing. Like he just pops up and looks really good at times. And yeah, he'll be a contender, I believe, this week.
Indeed. And, you look at the top echelon of this Truck Series, a lot of the same names float to the top. So it feels like sometimes we're talking about these same names each and every week, but there's a reason for that. And there's also a reason because the books haven't necessarily fully adjusted to that yet too. So as they continue to
we had this conversation last week about Tanner Gray top 5, right? He was plus 850. They haven't adjusted to what we've seen, to what he's been doing. 10 laps to go in the race. Tanner is running 3rd, where he's been a majority of the day. Fast looks good. they miscalculated the fuel, I think, and he runs out. So unfortunately, we didn't catch the bet. But to the point of, it's not been the same Tanner Gray we've seen in the past, and it's looked different. They just are not. And I got an outright coming up that, what are we doing? Like, they just don't adjust in this series, and it's great. Keep it. Like, don't tell anybody, right? Leave it this way because we like it. But that's why there is advantages definitely in these lower series of both Xfinity and trucks.
Which is where I'm going with my next one, Jake Garcia. One of the guys that we always tend to bring up, right? Because he's always around. I know even last year we were talking a lot about him. You were really high on him last year. We're always high on him this year. And he's been performing, right? Jake Garcia, 6 top 10 finishes in 9 races. He's only finished outside of the top 10 in 3 races. One of those was Daytona. Okay, that's fine, whatever. The other one was at Las Vegas, and that was a tough day for him. Started 3rd, finished 26th in that one. And then the last one, he crashed out in Texas. So those were the 3 times that he did not finish inside of the top 10. Outside of that, a 3rd place at Martinsville, short track. 2nd place at Rockingham, not quite an intermediate, but it is definitely shorter than most of the tracks that you're used to. So a couple of top 5 finishes already in these shorter tracks. The 7th place at Bristol, right after starting 5th place in that race. He's led in 2 of the last 3 races so far, Rockingham and Texas. So Jake Garcia got that fast Thor Sport truck, right? That 13 is really, really looking good. And I almost want to say, Cody, that he's probably the better of that garage right now. If you look at just overall, I mean, you know, he's sort of right there. So Jake Garcia in 7th place in the standing right now. He's better than his buddies in Thor Sport trucks as well. So I'm just saying, like, he's the top ranked Thor Sport. I'm sorry, Ty Majeski's right before him. I'm sorry, in 6th place. The piano hasn't fallen yet on him. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't count. But yeah, he's better than Ben Rhodes right now. So I'm just saying, like, his top 5 number right now, plus 450 over on ESPN Bet. Go. Run to that one right now.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I was gonna put this one on here, and I logged in, and you'd already taken it. So you beat me to it, but I absolutely 100% agree. Garcia's been a guy we've been on. He's been qualifying fast every week, been running up front. He's been looking good. There's still some minor mistakes, some minor things here and there that cost him a little bit and maybe ruined some chances at better finishes. But as he keeps ironing that out, he's only, 18, 19 years old, a very talented young kid. We're going to continue to see it. And while you have this opportunity to take advantage of bigger numbers, keep doing it because he's a guy that's paid off quite a bit already this season.
Indeed. All right, where are we going next?
Next up for me, Rod, we are going to go to Mr. Brent Cruz. I'm going to take his top 5 plus 450. I know we've kind of talked down this number 1 Tricon truck a few times. It's definitely had its struggles, but Brandon Jones did really well in it last week over at Kansas. We've seen it run good before. I know Brendan Butterbean Queen made his first career start last year in this race and got a top 5 in this truck. Now, 17-year-old Brent Cruz is going to make his first career start. This guy is a big Toyota pipeline driver. Like they've got a lot invested in him. He's going to run in the ARCA for Joe Gibbs. Now, obviously, we're kind of getting some starts in under our belt here. He's got to get some of those short track starts. He's only 17, so can't start in the bigger tracks anyways. So get those things in here. 2024 Cars Tour late model stock car rookie of the year. So he's coming off of that. I would imagine he's probably in the Cars Tour race that will be going on this weekend as well, which my guy Corey LaJoy's in as well, Rod. So shout out to him. But his list of accomplishments is just, it's amazing. 23 SCCA Trans Am Pro Series champion, 24 World Series of Asphalt Super Late Models champion, 2016 United States Pro Kart rookie, national champion in Max Micros, won the Orange Blossom last year, won the Red Eye last year, won the 23 Chad McDaniel Memorial, Lucas Oil National Midget. So he's the youngest Lucas Oil National Midget Series winner at 13 years old, youngest Trans Am Series champion at 15 years old, youngest Trans Am Series winner at 14 years old. Like, this kid is a guy we're probably going to be talking about a lot going forward. How many times have we seen these late model guys come in, they make these starts, nobody really knows what's going on with them, they don't know much about them, and suddenly it's like, oh shit, this kid's just running up front and looks good, right? He's only 17, Mistakes can be made, but he's already been doing some racing stuff for a while, and he's really fucking good at it. He's in a good truck in the Tricon 1 truck. Top 5 at plus 450, I think, is a little bit of a steal this week. So give me Brent Cruz, 17 years old. Might not be available in all the books, but some of the books out there definitely do have him. I know I pulled this off of 365, so they've got him up there, but top 5 at plus 450.
And honestly, too, that 1 truck, I know that we talked last season, it wasn't necessarily the all-star of all-stars truck, but I know that the equipment's good enough, right? Obviously, to finish inside of the top 5. So if you can just drive it to where it's supposed to.
It had a lot of bad runs last year with William Sawalich, which we've since learned was not an equipment issue.
No, it was not. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just if you put the right guy in there, or the right driver in there, then I think you're solid. So yeah, this is not bad, especially at plus 450, just to take a little, I mean, it'll be fun to cheer them on too. And maybe we'll see that 1 truck climb its way into contention. All right. Speaking of climbing its way into contention, Daniel Hemrick. I don't normally bring him up. Cody's the one that brings him up.
Taking all my guys today, Rod.
Look, when we talk, like I said, when we talk about the top of the charts, it's difficult sometimes to get away from these guys. And I wanted to try to get spicy, but
why would you get away from them at these prices? I would have had this too if you didn't. So, and I already had plenty of stuff. So I'm glad you took some of these other guys that because God, just keep going back to the well with some of these guys because they pay off more than they don't.
Heck yeah, they do. So Daniel Hemrick, top 3, is plus 575, and this is a fantastic number for Daniel Hemrick. He has 6 top 10 finishes as well in 9 races. So another one of these guys. He's 3rd in the point standings right now. He's got that win at Martinsville, short track. He started on the pole at Bristol. Probably should have won that race, right? In Bristol. He did lead 8 laps in that one, finished 13th. 3rd at Rockingham, 2nd at Texas, 5th at Homestead. I mean, the guy is consistently around the front now. He's figured out that he's not scared, obviously, of any of these other truckers, right? He's not scared of Corey Heim. He's not scared of well, I guess there's no one else really to be scared of in the truck series right now, but he's definitely not scared of Corey Heim, right? He's driving that 19 truck the way God intended it to be, and that's to be a top 3 truck each and every week. So I don't know why this is any different. He hasn't been on this as a truck driver, this particular track, but it's a short track. I mean, again, and we didn't talk really about the configuration of this track, but it's almost like, there's dips and there's valleys and there's gains and there's losses. And it's almost like a mini road course for a short track because you're riding some elevation changes in these corners, but it doesn't matter, right? For Daniel Hemrick, I think he's pretty comfortable in this truck right now. They're giving him good, solid equipment each and every week, and he's driving it to the best of his ability. I mean, that 10th place at Kansas last week was good considering he started in 22nd place. So again, there's speed in that truck. There's speed in this driver. Top 3. When you think about Busch, when you think about Heim, Hemrick's going to be right there with them, battling it all day long. So I think he finishes as a top 3 driver at especially at plus 575. Please give me that.
Yeah, great number. I've actually got more thoughts on him. Another bet coming up in a little bit, so I'll talk more about him then. But you nailed it. I love Daniel Hemrick. He continues to be underrated week after week. We've seen some good performances. Really, the only other true short track that you could somewhat compare this to is Martinsville. He's the one who won that race. Yeah, probably should have been Corey Heim, but fuck, you could say that about every race at this point. And again last week, and something again went wrong. Like a little bit of the piano man's rubbing off of Heim, except he's actually able to recover usually from it, and still recovered for a decent finish last week. But yeah, I love this one on Mr. Hemrick.
When you can pull yourself off of our beep list, right? Our when you have to get censored when you say his name, when you can pull yourself off of that, consider yourself a very, very solid driver.
It's funny because it's almost like it's not even the same driver, because there was a point in time when he was in the 31 car in the Cup Series that we bleeped Daniel Hemrick's name. We would not say it. We would say the driver, the number 31. You would insert the bleep, and we would not say his name because he just fucked us over so many times. But the 19 driver in the Truck Series, I love that version of Daniel Hemrick. And I'm just ready to bet on him every single week. So, hey, again, that's why it's not personal with any of these guys. It's, situational, and we're willing to change our tune if we need to. And, yeah, went from the outhouse to the penthouse on the NASCAR Gambling Podcast, Rob.
redemption stories. Everybody loves himself a good redemption story. So, all right, we've got more bets coming your way, but I would like to take this opportunity to first tell you about our friends over at Rhythm. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. You can dominate the NBA playoffs and MLB prop market with Rhythm. Building your own model, simple and it's easy. Rhythm knows that you're going to love it. That's why they include a 7-day free trial. Love me, my local hometown boy, Aaron Judge, always working on models to find out how many home runs, how many hits he's going to get, how many ways that I can get in to bet on him every single day. And Rhythm definitely helps that out. So Rhythm also has some amazing deals going on now. 25% off of a monthly subscription with promo code SGPN50 and a 25% with SGPN25. That is SGPN25 and SGPN50. RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN20 or SGPN50. A lot of numbers. Get your 7-day free trial. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Tell you about our friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport, including the NBA playoffs and some sports you may have never, ever thought you'd be a bet on. Plus, they got player props for every game. And for the true DGens, the MyBookie money bag. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. Easy deposit, lightning fast payout using crypto. Again, you know, I love me some esports. The Call of Duty League is rolling on with their Major 4 qualifiers this weekend. Friday, take full advantage of the Carolina Royal Ravens. I'm going to take them over Minnesota Rocker. Get this at -127 over on mybookie.ag. Carolina needs to kind of get themselves right. Minnesota Rocker kind of hurting. So give me Carolina Royal Ravens -127 over Minnesota Rocker over there on the Call of Duty League as well. Find that and many more when you head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for their entire stay. What are you going to get when you win? A 2-night stay at Circa Resort and Casino for the entire 12-person league. 6 double king rooms if you're trying to keep track there and figure out which guy you're going to sleep next to that snores all night long. Or kick him out, whatever, I don't care. Hold the draft at Cabana at Stadium Swim with $5,000 food and beverage credit. You get limo transportation to and from the airport. You get a welcome party at Legacy Club for the league. You get a reservation at the world's largest sportsbook with $500 beverage credit for the league and a 2-hour open bar package for the league at Overhang Bar. That's not enough. I don't know what's going to satisfy you, but you can call me up and invite me to your league, and I will definitely come with you on that one. Contest running now through June the 30th. You can enter at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. I actually do have family over there in the Vegas area, so I don't even need a place to stay, guys. If you just take me with you for all the fun and drinking stuff, I'm good with that.
I mean, I think it would be pretty fun to stay at the Circa, but
Yeah,
anyway,
but
if you got to compromise, then that's fine.
I'm not sharing a bunk with any of you guys. You guys are all heathens. Just saying.
How long have you been in the military, Rod? I think you've bunked with plenty of people that it don't matter anymore.
This is absolutely true. I could tell you some horror stories about some old barracks days that
I could sleep anywhere, anytime, on
with
anything
going around.
with anyone around. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. All right, Cody. Looks like you got a full box here to break down. What do you got next?
I got a full box here, Rod. Welcome to the long shot section of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Oh, let's fucking go. Luke Baldwin is back in the number 66 car. Rod, if you watched him last week at Kansas, he struggled, right? He had some issues, had some problems, spun out on the track, then he sped on pit road, and whatever. Go back to Martinsville. Well, the result wasn't that good, but remember how fast he was? He was the fastest truck in practice. Then he looked so good throughout the race. Then he got in trouble. Something happened, but he fought back and then something happened. So a bit of a trend here, right? Things aren't going great. He's new. He's only got 2 career starts in the Truck Series. Guess who's going to be racing in the Wayland Modified race this weekend? Now, that race will be Sunday, but more on track time. This is his type of jam. It is Luke Baldwin. and they're not respecting him. I get the results haven't been there, but we have seen this truck and this driver have the ability to perform really well. Luke Baldwin should not be 5,000 plus 5,000. 50, what is that? 500 to 1. Is that
or 50 to 1?
Yeah,
You're
whatever.
good.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter, Rod. He's plus 5,000 for a top 5. What are we doing here? Doesn't make any sense. What we've seen that truck be capable of doing, I love it. I'm also going to take him to be the top finishing Ford at 4 to 1. Now, we just talked about how much we love Lane Riggs. I'm about to talk a lot more about Lane Riggs, but things go wrong. Things happen to good drivers. Sometimes they get disqualified, like last week. That gives us the Jake Garcia top finishing Ford, Rod, right? Chandler Smith is in this race, but what if something happens? What if a piano falls out of the sky and hits Ty Majeski? Like, things happen. Maybe he ends up 6th, 7th, 8th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and still is the top finishing Ford because other Fords had problems. We've seen it time and time again. So Luke Baldwin top 5 plus 5,000, 50 to 1, and then Luke Baldwin top Ford at 40 to 1. And then, Rod, we're going to go over to Andres Perez de Lara. He is in the, what truck does he drive? He drives the 77 truck, I believe, right? Which is a Spire truck.
Spire.
So again, good, like Baldwin's in a Thor Sport truck. Delara's in a Spire truck. One true short track we've raced at this season. Delara finished in 7th place. Was there a little bit of chaos at the end of the race? Some stuff had to happen for him to get there? Yeah, sure. Don't care. What if there's chaos this race? What if things happen? What if Corey Heim has a problem? What if Kyle Busch gets a pit road penalty? We've never seen that happen before, right? What if Lane Riggs gets caught up in a race? What if things happen or there's chaos at the end of this thing? 60 to 1 when he was 2 spots outside of a top 5, the one other time we've seen him. And I don't fully know his background. I know he's come from like NASCAR Mexico and stuff, but I believe he's got a pretty in-depth short track experience. So, yeah, give me Andres Perez de Lara for the top 5 at 60 to 1.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you're talking about these Spire trucks, it's all about the equipment at this point. So if you, like we talked about earlier with Cruz, if you can drive the equipment the way it's supposed to be driven, then you should be a top 5 truck. You should be somewhere in the mix. And
and the Baldwin thing just blows my mind. Like, go back and look at the practice times in Martinsville. Everybody's like, oh shit. And we had bets on him there. His number got a lot shorter after. So get these in ahead of time, right? Because he's probably going to come out and look good in practice. He is a very good race car driver that specializes in short track stuff, coming from the modifieds, just like his dad did. Like, that's what he specializes in. Go bet on him and do it now while you're getting a huge number. Sure, could he make some mistakes? Does some things go wrong? Does he probably not finish? He's 50 to 1. He shouldn't finish in the top 5, but he's good enough to do so in a good enough truck. That's why you got to bet it.
Indeed. All right. Speaking of good trucks, Lane Riggs. I know that you got a whole other argument about him later on as well. But look, he is in Group 1 right now over on Hard Rock. He is grouped with Ty Majeski and both Smiths, Chandler and Sammy. We already talked about Chandler and Sammy. We talked about them as head-to-heads. I'm not even worried about Sammy Smith at all. Like, Lane Riggs should finish better than Sammy Smith, and he should lap Sammy Smith, to be honest with you, when this is all said and done. Probably won't, but at the same time, I hardly think that Sammy Smith has got anything for Lane Riggs. Chandler Smith could be the one that makes this one a little interesting. We talked about him just a second ago, 8.7 average finish for him. He's second in the points overall. But again, it's just, to me, Lane Riggs is going to be driving pissed off this week. And I think that's a very scary proposition for the rest of the field. 6th place at Bristol for Lane, 11th at Martinsville. I mean, not glaringly super finishes and not better than Chandler Smith in either one of those, but that 34 truck every week seems to just need to be out of trouble. And when it is, it's in contention for the win like we saw last week. So I think he's going to at least give Chandler a good run for his money. And then Ty Majeski. Look, you can hit me with stats for Ty Majeski all day long, but I'm just going to play you a song on my piano because it just seems to be exactly what happens week after week after week with Ty Majeski. This season, it doesn't seem like the pianos have fallen that hard for him, especially earlier in the season, but 13th at Martinsville, 33rd at Bristol with a crash out, 31st at Rockingham with a crash out, a couple of respectable finishes at Texas and in Kansas, 10th and 14th. But damn, man, I mean, poor Ty Majeski is really hurting as far as being able to find some consistency over the latter half of whatever the season has been so far for him. So started out pretty respectably and has been on a decent run lately. But yeah, man, those pianos, they're pretty heavy out there, and a lot of them are waiting for him. So I like Riggs to finish better than these guys in this group at plus 250. So Riggs Group 1 at Hard Rock over Majeski, Smith, and the law firm of Smith & Smith.
Yeah, I have no argument with this, Rod, because no car lift this week for the Cup Series. Lack of odds at the All-Star race, whatever. We're doing a truck lift instead, and it is the Lane Riggs truck lift. We're going to include the Riggs over Majeski minus 125 that I gave out. We're including your Group 1 on Hard Rock plus 250. We're taking the top 5 at minus 120. Best bet of the week alert. Top 3 at plus 160. Top finishing 4 at plus 145. Win the race plus 650. All aboard Lane Riggs right now. He's looking good, been running good. I love everything about it. Showed a ton of speed last week. Almost got to the win, right? He almost got Hocevar there at the end, and has been running well. Martinsville, he ran well. 11th place finish wasn't the greatest day ever, but I love everything I've seen out of Lane Riggs right now. Completely sold on him. Riding the truck lift all the way to the top. So top 5 minus 120, top 3 plus 160, top 4 plus 145. Win the race plus 650. Take your group over Majeski, Smith & Smith, and Riggs over Majeski, just in the head-to-head as well. All in on Mr. Riggs this week.
God, I hope he finishes well. I would hate to be this deep in to Lane Riggs to have it just blow up in our face.
I feel very confident because we've seen what we need to see from him. Oh, by the way, he's the type of guy that comes from the late model background, the short track stuff. When he got his first couple of starts, that's where it was. We kind of saw those flashes early. He went through the rookie grind last year. We saw some mistakes, saw some stuff happen that wasn't great. But then he came here to North Wilkesboro and scored a third place finish in that race. I believe it was, he finished in third place. And I was trying to remember who was in that race. Corey Heim won to no surprise, and Enfinger was second, and then he was right there behind him. So it was 2 years ago that Larson won, but great run by him last year. He thrives on this type of racing, this type of track. All in on Lane Riggs.
Absolutely love it. All right. I love this one. Caesars is giving us a manufacturer, and I'm going to take Toyota over Ford. And let's just face it. This is a Corey Heim versus the entire Ford camp. This is a head-to-head Corey Heim versus every Ford in the field, because I'm telling you right now, if you look at the rest of the Toyotas, it's not anybody that's going to scare you. You got Cruz, which we talked about could be a top 5 truck, which, is fine. You got Tony, you've got Tanner, which could give you a run for your money as well. In fact, there could be 2 Toyotas that finish better. And then there's Ruggiero, and then there's Friesen. But again, if we're going to be completely honest with each other, this is Corey Heim beating every Ford on the field, and that's probably going to happen by winning the race. Now, I mean, for Ford, you got heavy hitters like Garcia, you got Riggs, you got Chandler, you got Ty, you got Ben, you got Matt Crafton, who's always a driver, and then you've got Frankie, which, by the way, somebody thought, hoping it's Frankie's week. Roland Race News saying, I hope it's Frankie's week. So we that poor guy. Like, I love to root for him. He's so passionate. He's almost like AJ Allmendinger out there, except obviously not as accomplished of a driver as AJ Allmendinger, but still that emotional driver. But anyways, minus 115 for Toyota over Ford. And like I said, when Corey wins this race, even if it's Kyle Busch that wins and Corey finishes second, which we'll talk about in a second as well, then you're going to cash this bet because all the other Fords are going to finish behind those 2, and it doesn't really matter which one it is. So give me Toyota over Ford minus 115.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good way to get in. If you want to get in on Corey Heim, what is he to win the race? He's less than 2-1, or he's right at 2-1. Him and Busch both at 2-1. But then you don't have to worry about him going head-to-head with Kyle Busch because Busch is going to be in a Chevy. So you throw him out there. You've got to worry about Riggs. Obviously, we're very big on him. But look, Corey Heim is the best driver in the best truck. We've seen some struggles and had some things happen, right? But really, he should be able to go out there and beat everybody, Kyle Busch included, any given week, any time. And you're taking all the Chevys out of it, which more Chevys than anything else. And like you said, just a couple of Fords to really worry about, but mostly Riggs. If Majeski has a day, okay, but outside of that, probably not too many other guys you're worried about. Plus, not only do you get Heim, but you do get Tanner Gray and some of the others in the Toyota camp, just in case they manage to pull things off.
Yep, that 17 truck's pretty intriguing too, because Gio just seems to be there and then not, but he's in the conversation until he stops being part of the conversation. So, all right, well then, Cody, only one thing left to do, and that is pick winners for this race.
Only one thing left to do, and that is pick winners, Rod. KFB is a winner. He could use a momentum bump right now. He could use just some love, and I think he's going to get that in victory lane this week. Kyle Busch, one start this year in the Truck Series. It was at Atlanta, but he got the win there, Rod. Started all 5 races that he could last year, 2 wins and a second-place finish. Things didn't go great at Darlington and Vegas, but shit happens sometimes. Look, Kyle Busch is the greatest driver to ever drive a truck in history, and we've seen that. He's dominated the Truck Series for years. It's not as easy anymore, right? Guys like John Hunter Nemechek have been able to stick with him. Guys like Corey Heim have been able to stick with him. Do I think that Lane Riggs could go out and beat Kyle Busch in this just straight up head-to-head? Yes. Do I think Corey Heim could do it? I know Corey Heim could do it because I've seen it before. But if Kyle Busch is on in the truck for a day, he can get it done. I wish he was in the 7 and not the 07, but it's close enough. I don't think that, that's really just splitting straws there. And Kyle Larson won in the 07 earlier this year too. So that's where the talent makes all the difference. So Kyle Busch, 2-1, taking him, calling my shot on him this week. Of course, I have Lane Riggs at plus 650 as part of the truck lift there. Daniel Hemrick's 22-1. There's nothing else to say. He won at Martinsville. We talked about him earlier. You take Daniel Hemrick at 22-1. I don't care what track we're on. Any of them. Pick the entire Truck Series schedule. If he's 22-1 every week, I will bet him without any questions asked. I don't care if he has to start 2 laps down every week. Like, he shouldn't be 22-1. What are we doing here? This makes no sense. And you just mentioned how good and amazing Gio Ruggiero is, Rod. Well, he's 80-1. Could the young gun who's been looking good and I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, right? Well, it's 80-1. Yeah, that's the reason. But Rajah Caruth a couple years ago, we called the 80-1. It's just I've seen enough from Gio that he's putting real things together. He's looking good, and why not? Maybe he pulls a surprise upset this week. Maybe it has to be some chaos at the end. Maybe we get some late cautions, see some short track stuff. Busch and Heim take each other out. Riggs gets caught up in it. Things can happen. You don't know. He can put himself in position. 80-1, worth a little bit of a roll of the dice.
Yep, and he'd cash the Toyota bet too, which would make me happy. Happier than the 80-1. No, it wouldn't. No, look,
maybe not quite, but
maybe not. Yeah, just I'm not 80-1 happy. No, really, and the things that have caught him up, they really haven't been his fault. A couple of them are just wrong place, wrong time, and nothing you could do to avoid the trouble. So I do like this because, like I said, that 17 truck, it's looking shades of Taylor Gray back in the day. So, all right, here's my way of not having to pick between Kyle Busch and Corey Heim. Caesars has given us a fantastic opportunity to just say, you know what? Screw it. Who wins? I don't know. I'm just picking the exacta on this one. And I'm picking, but that, Rod, you have to predict who wins. Yeah, not in this instance. Busch Heim exacta is plus 320 either way. Heim, Busch, Heim, doesn't matter. Both of them are plus 320. So here's what you do. You take whatever part of the unit that you want to take and you put it on both of them. Because if one finishes first and the other finishes second, or vice versa, you're happy either way, right? Because you're cashing this bet and you don't have to sit there and go, oh man, I had Busch to win, or oh man, I had Heim to win. No, if you had Busch to win, Heim's probably going to finish second. If you have Heim to win, Busch is probably going to finish second. So in those scenarios, you're covered both ways. And like I said, it's plus 320 on either end. When Heim alone to win is plus 200 and Busch alone to win is plus 200. So if we think they're going to be the top 2 trucks and they're both going to finish either first, second, don't guess. Just put something on both of these exactas, and then you'll get more out of betting on that than you would on either one of their outrights. So it's kind of a crazy little twist and way to get in on it. But I mean, honestly, if we think Kyle Busch is going to come out here and wax the field, well, Corey Heim's going to be right there in hand unless something happens, right? Or at the end of the race, Corey Heim and Busch are battling it out, and it's a fraction of a second between either one of them. Well, I don't have to rip up my ticket because I've got both of them, and it doesn't matter who finishes first or second. So I really do think this is a creative way to sort of hedge on who is going to win this race. If you think both of them, especially the books, think both of them are going to be right there if they're the same odds. So why not have something on both of them to finish 1-2?
Yeah, it's it is a creative way to get in on it, and yeah, it's not having to choose which one I think is nice. And if you line them up and the race goes the way it should, they probably should be the two best. And I think you could maybe throw Riggs in there as kind of the 1A to their, or the 1B to their 1As, but those should be the best two trucks. They are the best two drivers, no question about it. We thought maybe it'd be a little chalkier last week at Kansas and just missed on some of that. Maybe this is the week for it. So hard to argue too much.
Indeed. Cousin Danny saying Busch is going to DNF. He's not watching the Truck Series.
This isn't the Cup Series.
Yeah.
He's not watched in the Cup Series either. We're in a little bit of things aren't going good right now, Ross.
No,
that's why he needs to show up in the Truck Series and get that confidence that he can still jam, and we know he can.
Yeah, and again, Busch is going down. This is a big league player going down into the double A's,
Not only a big league player, but one of the greatest race car drivers of all time. Like Kyle Busch is on that list, and especially when it comes to Xfinity and trucks. Like, look at the number of wins he's racked up in both of those series. Like, he is an all-time great, and I think the all-time greatest in the Truck Series.
Yeah. So again, this is like Jose Canseco coming down and doing that. So, all right, get out your pen and paper. It is time to go over our bets for this. Sorry, guys, no graphic today.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that,
Ross. So just get out your pen and paper, old school style, as we go over our bets for this Window World 250 from the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Cody started you off with Lane Riggs over Ty Majeski at -125. I said in the Battle of the Smiths, Chandler would come out on top at -120. So Chandler Smith over Sammy Smith, -120 over on Caesars. Cody gave you Grant Enfinger as a top 5 truck at 3-1. I said Jake Garcia would be a top 5 truck at +450 over on ESPN Bet. Cody said that Mr. Cruz would be a top 5 truck at +450. I said Daniel Hemrick would be a top 3 truck at +575 over on Hard Rock. Cody gave you Baldwin as a top 5 truck at 50-1 and to be the top Ford at 40-1. And then he said Delara would be a top 5 truck at 60-1 rather, for that. I said Lane Riggs would win Group 1 over on Hard Rock at +250 over Ty Majeski and the law firm of Smith and Smith. Cody is riding the Riggs truck lift all the way to the top, adding in all of our Riggs bets previously and adding in the top 5 at -120, top 3 at +160, top 4 at +145, and to win at +650. I said take Toyota over Ford at -115. And Cody gave you Kyle Busch at 2-1, Daniel Hemrick at 22-1, and Ruggiero at 80-1 to win. I said just put something on either Busch, Heim, Exacta at +320. Busch, Heim, Busch. Put something on both of them and call it a day for the Window World 250.
That'll do it, Rob.
That'll do it. Trucks complete. I'm excited because, again, I love it when we got a full truck slate to break down because there's a lot of stuff we don't always get to when we're doing trucks and Xfinity.
And man, yeah, they killed it with the odds this week. Not for the Cup Series and the All-Star race, but for this race, full great selection of odds and a lot of stuff we want to bet on out there, and that's what makes it fun.
Indeed. All right, we come back tomorrow. We're gonna have DFS for you for the All-Star race, and some underdog picks too if they're out. I haven't checked if they're out yet, but I'm pretty sure they will be soon.
Yeah, I've also not looked, but I'm sure that they will be. Yeah, I'm excited for it. And yeah, a little Friday show, a little fun, Friday fun day for DFS and underdog. I like it.
I love it. So, all right, Cody, well, let's get everybody out of here to start filling out their truck cards as they already have, I'm sure, but let's let them finish it. And in the meantime, let everyone know where they can find you out in the real world.
Yeah, follow me over on the X at @Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff there. Plenty of stuff over there. NFL stuff. I got some NFL stuff coming out this weekend. NHL stuff, of course, arena football, and whatever else they'll let me write about it. I'll write about it all. So find it over there at Husker_Zeeb. Follow the show as well at NASCAR Gambling. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe wherever you're listening to. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow.
So close to 1,000 subscribers, guys. Get us there. I want to see that 1,000 subscriber mark. If nothing else, just to say and brag to my daughters that I've hit 1,000 subscribers, and they can be like, we don't care, Dad.
That's the only place we can get somewhat cool points is having YouTube followers.
Indeed. All right. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the about everything I got going on, whether it's here. Go check out the Backroad. Seth and I broke down the All-Star race yesterday on the IBT YouTube channel. And of course, you can find all my other musings over there, be it esports, be it, I don't know, darts, whatever I've got cooking up, it's on that as well. So we'll see you tomorrow. DFS, everybody. Until then, let's go racing and let it ride.
Broken, eyes crossed here.